I told everybody, the next person that up is gonna be fired. You, get out of the store!
Explosive interactions, lightning-fast reactions, and hair-raising near misses will have you on the edge of your seat. Viewers, get ready to be blown away by today's video in which Hardcore Pawn unleashes a new level of aggressiveness. A customer approached the counter in the packed pawn shop with a chain in hand, adamantly proclaiming their wish to pawn it for $250. The cautious pawn shop owner, on the other hand, meticulously studied the chain and immediately questioned its validity. The customer's insistence that the chain was genuine quickly turned into a rage.
It's real. I want $250.
You got some jewelry
Where's your mother manager at?
Resulting in a disruptive and confrontational incident within the store. The customer's displeasure turned into passionate outburst, shouting and raising a scene as the tension grew. Despite the escalating fury, the shopkeeper maintained his cool and refused to engage in a shouting match, instead asking the consumer to calm down or leave, hoping to alleviate the hostile environment. The customer's fury, on the other hand, simply grew, with their yells becoming louder and more frightening. The pawn shop owner held steady, refusing to succumb to the customer's level of hostility and remaining calm throughout the experience. Seeking a different option, the customer immediately moved their attention to a watch, claiming it was real and giving it for examination. Wary of the rising aggressiveness, the shop owner reluctantly consented to appraise the watch, hoping to find a peaceful solution. The pawn shop owner was surprised to learn that the watch was genuine. Despite the hostile nature of the encounter, the owner elected to rise above it and offer the buyer the desired amount of $250.
I'll take the $250.
Wow, changing a tone now.
Thanks for helping me.
In an episode of Hardcore Pawn, a woman came in to ask for help with her broken vacuum cleaner, but the workers dismissed her, which made her feel frustrated and upset. After patiently waiting for nearly 2 hours without assistance, her aggravation reached a boiling point and she asked to speak with a manager, expressing her discontent with the bad customer service she had received. When one of the workers, Ashley, came up to her, the woman asked right away if Ashley was the boss. She told Ashley that she had been standing there for nearly 2 hours, trying desperately to get help. The woman's voice got louder as she vented her anger and told the shop how unhappy she was with how they had handled her situation. She was upset that she was told to wait in a long line at first and then ignored for a long time. The woman tried to prove her case by showing the ticket, which showed that she had bought the vacuum cleaner just the day before. But the woman's growing anger and frustration got the best of her, and in a fit of rage, she hit Ashley's hair as a way to get rid of her feelings.
Because
He told me. Excuse me, nothing.
You need to leave.
Ashley started yelling and telling the woman to leave the shop right away in response to this sudden act of violence. A woman attempted to pawn a phony Gucci purse. Her plan was to either obtain a loan or sell the thing outright. The pawn shop's initial offer was $50, however, that fell short of her expectations. She pushed on a bigger sum of $150 or a $75 loan. The business, on the other hand, remained steadfast in its assessment, citing the purse's stains and antiquated design as reasons for the low offer. This explanation did not sit well with the woman, who became clearly enraged. In her rage, she requested to talk to someone else, even disparaging the employee's appearance. The heated exchange underlined the woman's exaggerated perception of the purse's worth and the shop's refusal to pay extra for a faulty, outdated, counterfeit item.
Why do I have to talk to you?
Because
You
I'm the
disrespectful.
manager. I'm disrespectful and you call me a pepperoni ass?
Ugly ass bitch.
In the 2012 episode Lawyer Up Son from Season 6 of Hardcore Pawn, Les, the owner of American Jewelry, got into a heated fight with a woman who said her son had pawned her mother's gold ring. Les told her that there were no records of her son pawning anything at American Jewelry, and this made the situation worse. The woman wouldn't give up. She claimed that she needed information about a $10,000 ring that her son had pawned. She even had a pawn ticket to show as proof. As they were leaving the store, they said they would come back with a lawyer, which they did. Les was ready for the fight, so he told the lawyer why it was clear that the ticket was fake.
The numbers don't match up. The paper stack doesn't match up. This is a fake.
Les held up the fake ticket and pointed out a number of mistakes, saying, "This is a fake ticket. Our tickets don't have this many numbers, and the law has to be printed in a 12-point size because it's required by state law. Look, the numbers don't match up, and neither does the stack of papers." The customer walked up to the counter in a very angry and frustrated way. The woman behind the desk asked, "How can I help you?" in an attempt to act professionally. The customer slammed their hand on the counter and yelled, "I want my wedding ring. It's worth $5,000. I want it back, but you have it." The woman sighed when she realized how bad things were. They asked, "Okay, where's the pawn ticket?" The customer was angry and said, "My husband took my wedding ring. He took it because he knows you're having trouble with money." The customer got angry and asked, "All I want to do is come in and get my ring back." The customer spoke up and said, "I didn't ask you to give me the information. I asked you to look it up. How difficult is it? Just let me talk and give me my ring."
You are nuts. Just go back there and give me my. How hard is that? You can't just go back there and type in a name.
The woman stood her ground and refused the customer's request, saying, "Get out of here. It's time for you to leave." A woman aggressively attempts to return a pair of earrings without showing a receipt in an angry and contentious interaction at the pawn store. In response to her request, the shop owner instantly takes a defensive attitude, claiming that their establishment does not sell fake jewelry. The owner, doubting the legitimacy of the earrings, challenges their genuineness, exacerbating the situation. Undaunted by the owner's answer, the woman insists that her niece bought the earrings from the shop and accuses the owner of operating fraud. Both parties exchange angry words, with the woman's charges feeding her rage and the owner growing increasingly defensive. At the height of the argument, the shop owner orders the woman to leave, emphasizing the hostile tone of the exchange. Even in the midst of the antagonism, the owner gives the woman two options: leave empty-handed or present a receipt as proof of purchase. The conversation concludes on a shaky note, with the potential of receiving a receipt for further discussion hanging in the balance.
I'll be back. I'll be back.
See you then.
Little ass baby, you need to go get fed right quick.
In this episode of The Pawn Shop, a manager named Rich, who had worked at the store for more than 25 years, was fired after a series of small mistakes. Les, the shop's owner, was in a very bad mood and came into the store screaming and demanding to know where Rich was. Les was angry and said that people were waiting to pay for their goods and that Rich's departure was costing them money. Les was angry, so he said he had told everyone that the next person to make a mistake would be fired, and Rich had put himself in that situation. In reaction to Les's outburst, Rich defended himself by reminding Les of his 25 years of hard work, saying, "Compared to what I've done for you for 25 freaking years." But Les wasn't persuaded, so he yelled at Rich to get out of the store, which was the same as firing him.
I can't believe after 25 years of being loyal to you.
You know what, Rich? You. Get out of the store.
Rich took some time to think about why he was fired and came to the conclusion that he made mistakes that led to his firing. Rich wanted to make things right, so he reached out to Les to apologize for his actions and to say he was sorry for any harm he had caused. Rich had worked at the store for a long time and made important efforts. Because of this, Les was open to the idea of bringing him back. But Les also made it clear to Rich that if he made a mistake again, he would be fired right away.